With 2013 coming to a close, and also a generation of consoles finally coming to a close, we want to take a moment and just kind of reconsider things that have happened. So here is everyone at Rev3 Games, and some other people as well, with their highlights and lowlights of the last generation. This end of the year episode is brought to you by Dragon Speech.
Highlights from the last generation. I have to say Bethesda Game Studios, because they have made two of probably my favorite games of the past generation. One is Skyrim, which I always tell people if I was ever stuck on a desert island, that is the game that I would want with me, because I feel like I could play that for 50 years straight and still not discover everything that there is to discover. And the other one is Fallout 3, which is definitely in my top 3 games of all time. Absolutely love it. I mentioned in another video that I'm super into post-apocalyptic shooters, and Fallout 3, in my opinion, is among the best of them.
To me, I think the coolest thing about this generation was getting to see downloadable games really come into their own. When the 360 launched, if you remember, it was like a 50 megabyte file size limit for downloadables, and now you've got Game of the Year winners like Journey and Walking Dead and stuff like that. I know personally most of my favorite games this generation were downloadable, and it's been kind of cool seeing them evolve from like these tiny little distractions to full-fledged games over the course of this generation.
The thing that stands out most to me about the previous generation of consoles was the rise of the independent game creator community. I just loved the fact that some of that pure creative vision was finally available for easy consumption and for cheap prices to the mass audience, even on consoles, aside from being available on PC. That truly made this previous generation special.
I would say that my highlights for the last generation were definitely achievements and trophies. I would play through terrible games like Hannah Montana the movie, the game, just to get a platinum trophy. And I know a lot of you other, achievement hunters and trophy whores out there did the same thing. Also, this generation, music games. Guys, do you guys remember like 3 years ago? That's all we did. We were playing Rock Band, we were playing Guitar Hero. That's all we were doing. It was huge on these systems, and now they're kind of gone. I kind of miss them.
Braid is a game that completely changed my perspective of what video gaming can be and the way we learn systems in games. It is such an interesting puzzle game. I love the way it used video games as a metaphor for life, and the way it invoked classic video games from my childhood, and the way that I constantly had to be thinking. It didn't hold my hand, it just gave me a situation and forced me to really think about it. Finishing Braid without looking at any facts was one of the most pleasurable experiences of this generation.
What I think is the highlight of the past generation is this was the period of time in which games became ubiquitous and commonplace. It's hard to kind of go back to 2006 and remember what it was like, but games, as much money as they were making, were still seen as niche. It was a language that most people kind of looked at and scoffed at. And in the ensuing years, with a certain generation of people who always had games finally kind of becoming the ones with the purchase power, the 20-year-olds, there's nothing embarrassing. There's nothing bizarre about enjoying a 360 or a PlayStation 3 or even a Wii U or a 3DS. This might sound modest, but it really is showing that there is a presence and a place for video games. So worries about crashes, worries about the uncertainty of the industry, I think are a little bit more hyperbolic than anything real. This is as common as a VCR was in the home back in the 1980s, and that is a healthy sign, and one that allows for a few missteps without taking the entire experiment down with it.
My favorite memory of the past gaming generation, it's a 60-way tie. It's whenever I interview someone in or related to the industry and ask them to do their best impression of a stock photo model. Here are my top 12. Suda51, John Madden, Edgar Wright and Superman, Oh No, Dave Evans, Bill Trinan, the CEO of Natsume, David Brevik, Anna Kendrick, Cliffy B, Suda51, and this guy.
Worst thing from this generation, I have to give that award to Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. This was a game that was supposed to demonstrate the utility of Kinect and how awesome it was. And it basically did the exact opposite of that. It showed how buggy and awful and broken the technology was. And to ship a game that broken, I feel like you have to try hard to do something like that.
I think motion control in this last generation felt like such a waste of time as far as I'm concerned, and it really, there were 2 or 3 years there where all the attention was on that, and it felt like everybody needed to get into that game, whereas I think if the Wii had just been left alone and allowed to create those interesting experiences, it would have been a fun blip, but it wouldn't have derailed an entire generation of gaming.
All right, the worst thing of the last generation, it's kind of a combination of two things. The increasing presence of social media and fanboys. Yes, I've griped about fanboys before, and I've been through more than my fair share of gauntlets when I suddenly get their ire. But what I think actually is the most depressing problem is we don't know how many people these are. There's a sense that when someone's really loud, it must be representative of a lot of different people. And as a result, a lot of us, myself included, just start to pull themselves away from the conversation, from the kind of human, normal discourse that's based on just rational opinions and a desire to discuss it. It really has been filtered out on the Reddits, on the Twitters, just about anywhere you can look. And I think it's changing people's views of what gaming and gaming culture is all about. For many, I think they want to be associated with it, but anonymously.
I think the sort of trend of more and more annualization of game franchises was kind of not a great thing to see happen this generation. There's sort of always been annualization in sports games, but this was kind of the generation where it crept into shooters and major game franchises in a way that I don't think was super healthy and didn't produce a lot of great games. So definitely wouldn't be mad to see that go away.
Oh, do you guys remember that month when the PSN had the security breach and all of our credit card information was leaked? That was fun, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. Let's never ever do that again, please.
All right, I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Dragon Speech. Dragon is the world's best-selling speech recognition software. It turns your talk into text and can make virtually any computer task easier and faster. It can learn how you talk, so it gets better over time. And the same technology is used to voice command phones, TVs, and cars. It's usually $99, but for a limited time, you can get it for just $60. Plus, for watching Red 3 games, you'll get a free USB headset and a free trial of Password Genie when you go sign up at givedragon.com/Red3Games. It supports our show and makes a great gift. Again, that URL is givedragon.com/Red3Games.